I just got back from spending 3 days at the International Economic Forum of the Americas annual conference here in Montreal called this year Succeeding in a New Global Market. Basically what we call the New World Order Conference. As you can probably tell from my hair, I'm a little fried. Man, being there, it's like being in the Twilight Zone. It all hinges on the lie of man-made climate change and climate change being caused by carbon dioxide. First of all, the argument, as far as I can tell, is flawed for a number of reasons, namely the research that, there is a debate and a lot of research supports that we're not causing climate change. But here's another reason why the argument's flawed, okay? They said that carbon dioxide in the air is a greenhouse gas that causes global warming. Now, we're not having global warming. Temperatures globally are not rising. So they've changed it to climate change, okay? But if carbon dioxide in the air causes warming, and the solution to combating global warming was to get rid of carbon dioxide, which I obviously don't believe anyway, we know it's a scam, but if that was the case, then why would the solution to climate change be getting rid of carbon dioxide? Because it's not the same thing. But there's no debate allowed there. There's no debating whether climate change is happening, whether it's man-made, whether it's got to do with carbon dioxide, and whether the solution is getting rid of carbon dioxide, whatever. I can tell you one thing, the whole green energy thing is a big industry. Hey, I'm all for reducing pollution, but why this big charade about carbon dioxide? But the people giving the lectures about the environment and green energy, guess who they are? They're the people from the green energy companies, like Keith Cooley from Next Energy telling you don't end up like the aliens because they blew it. And that lecture was like aimed at people with the, intellectual level of maybe a sixth grader. No offense to sixth graders, but we're all adults here. Why are you talking to us like that? And here's another thing. Pay a lot of lip service to biodiversity. I got a lot of pamphlets. Here's another one with nice pictures of whatever that is, mountains and greenery. Here's another one. Do you think that in any of these pamphlets, do you think that any of these lectures they once mentioned the threats that GMOs pose to biodiversity? No. Of course not. Strategic value in a greening economy. Lots of bullshit going on there. It's mind-blowing. The whole thing is like a crock of shit. And the thing is that the people there, the ones who are giving the lectures, of course, they're pushing this agenda, not mentioning GMOs, saying it's all about too much carbon, even though we had read an article a while ago on the radio that mentioned that due to the economic crisis, carbon emissions had gone down, and that had no effect on the composition of the atmosphere. Of course, it was only a year, but whatever. And here's another thing. Let's say you assume that carbon dioxide causes global warming, and that by extension it causes climate change, and that because getting rid of carbon dioxide will mitigate global warming, then it'll mitigate all problems with the climate. Everything from hurricanes to the approaching ice age. Climate instability, it's all from carbon dioxide. Where's the logic? Let's say we assume that, and we take all these measures to decrease carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which we probably can't even do, because we're like ants in the big picture. But let's say if we did, who's to say that that's not going to have catastrophic consequences? Anyway, there was no room for any kind of debate like that at the conference. What was interesting, the one thing, as I mentioned, was that a lot of people attending it are thinking the same way I am. To one extent or another. Actually, a lot of people there were quite awake. And they think it's a big crock of shit. But nobody can stand up and ask the tough questions and put these people on the spot, for one, because there wasn't much room for questions. And a lot of times they were asked by a moderator, not by the audience. And two, because they don't want to come out publicly and say what they really think, even though they work for the government. They work for companies that are globalization companies. Or they work for whoever, but they don't want to lose their job. So there's a lot of people keeping quiet about what they really think. because of what they think is at stake for them, but I guess they're not looking at what's at stake in the bigger picture if they keep quiet. So it was long and a bit hard to tolerate all this nonsense, but we did meet some interesting people, and it was a fun experience. But it's really like being in the Twilight Zone. The whole thing is just based on lies. And I say they're charismatic. Yeah, they're charismatic. They're good speakers, but so what? They're just full of BS. And can all these people really be in on a conspiracy? I don't think so. I mean, at the high levels, yes. A conspiracy to centralize government, to have complete control, and to what? Ruin the environment? Kill us off? But the people attending the conference, like, I know some of the people I know a guy who was working on organizing the conference, and he's not in on a conspiracy. Like, how can these people be so clueless? Well, one, some of them are clueless because they're being brainwashed all the time, and two, some of them are not, but they're afraid to come out because of what they're afraid they're going to lose. But like I said, I guess they're not looking at the bigger picture.